Janitorial Manager presents the Business of Cleaning podcast, the podcast that brings you the information you need to be successful in the cleaning industry. The Business of Cleaning podcast provides in-depth interviews with successful personalities from the commercial cleaning industry, as well as discussing the trending topics that matter to you and your organization. And welcome into the Business of Cleaning mini podcast episode here, your number one source for information on the commercial cleaning industry. We release new episodes monthly, live from the Janitorial Manager studio located in Toledo, Ohio. I'm Tim Clegg, the Marketing Communications Specialist at AA Solutions and your host of the Business of Cleaning podcast. We want to welcome in Wendy Dietzler, Senior Director, Events and Education for the Trade Press Media Group. Welcome to the show, Wendy. I know it has been a very busy time with some shows just wrapping up and what's ahead for you guys.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Our runway is never not stacked with planes, otherwise known as our shows. We are, as you said, Remix in Vegas. We're starting to sunset that one, but that doesn't mean we're done. We're working right ahead into our 2025 slate. NFMT and Clean Buildings Conference. That's top of mind right now.
And there's so many options nowadays and so many new commercial cleaning business owners, first-time owners, people coming from all walks of life in the conversations I have. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with a gentleman that was a police officer for 11 years, got his doctorate, owns his own company. So for someone maybe like this person, attending a cleaning show, trade show for the first time, what should they expect?
Well, I just have to touch quickly on what you posited in the very front end of that question, Tim. I can't tell you how many conversations I have at Clean Buildings Conference that starts out with, I didn't expect to be in this industry. This wasn't my first career, but they come to it because of the creativity, of the excitement, of the passion, and also for that personal connection that basically owning your own enterprise and becoming your own boss of a cleaning service really affords you. So for those people, what they should expect is an incredible mix of people at Clean Buildings Conference, because we do have building service contractors, but there are also plenty of in-house and facility-based cleaning professionals. And these people swirl through the industry in both of those roles. There's a lot of overlap. There's going to be a lot of information shared just from personal experience and from professional experience as well. So I think what they would anticipate is basically spending almost like a work day at our event. You're going to get right in there at 8 o'clock. Our sessions kick off at 8:30. You are in those sessions until we haul you out of them. We bring you down to our exhibit floor where there's so much product discovery. We're going to have 3 or 4 hours on day one, totally dedicated to exhibits, to connecting with suppliers, all of the technology solutions that are there. And then in the afternoon, we are going to send you off with a party. We'll have a really great networking reception. And that's a great chance to create those personal connections that you might not otherwise have. But again, it's a full day of work, and we're going to do it all again on day 2 on that Wednesday of CBC. The other thing I would think people can expect is to really touch base with their customers, with the facilities people. We have NFMT, our sister show, taking place right alongside CBC in Baltimore. So those two events are going to bring together basically people who connect every day on the customer and the supply side. So our CBC attendees will get to connect with facility managers, facility and department heads who are sourcing those services and budgeting for those services in the current and future fiscal years. It
really is a unique extravaganza, really, bringing in so many different people from so many different diverse backgrounds. You don't really see a lot of shows having those groups under one roof, one house, essentially. Last year, 2024, I say last year, we're still in 2024 as we near the end, but it was the first time for the Clean Buildings Conference and NFMT back since pre-COVID. So what were some hurdles and challenges in preparation with you and your staff having that event back for the first time in a couple of years?
It was an opportunity to really reinvent, Tim. We saw a lot of what worked well pre-COVID, but we knew things had changed over the time. And some of it is just people's appetite for a traditional experience. We knew that there were plenty of people who wanted to get in, get to those sessions, get to the exhibits like they always have. But we also know there is a hunger, if you will, to
Mhm.
restore some of those communication, those person-to-person communications that were lost during COVID. Screens
Absolutely.
are great. Don't get me wrong. This is fantastic, right? But there's something different if we were sitting down across the table from each other having coffee. So we wanted to make sure we focused on that very enriching component that had been absent during COVID. So we came back with a couple of innovations for 2025. One of them are huddles. In our Clean Buildings Conference agenda, you will see a number of them that our editor, Karine Zudoni, will be managing. And they are basically open air forums for anybody who wants to come into that space and focus on the topic. It could be workloading, it could be staffing, recruiting and retention. There are several of them up on our site that you can take a look at. And what we want to do is bring people together to have them lead the conversation and have them drive the exchange. Karine's there. She's going to make sure people get talking. She's very good at that. But once that's up and running, it really is a wonderful thing to see those conversations take a life of their own, and the value is incredible. The second thing we're doing is down on the exhibit floor. We have a Show Central booth that we are sharing with our NFMT partner. And it's really going to be an opportunity for our editors on the NFMT and the Clean Buildings Conference side to pull in some of those subject matter experts and some of those representatives from our industries and some of our end users for some more intimate conversations down there as well. So we really want those connections to form and then forge at our event. And we'll take those with you as you're walking out of Baltimore's Convention Center.
It's so vital to lay out a plan if you're attending.
Yeah.
What are some of the key factors that you can give people that may not be experienced in attending trade shows or maybe attending for the first time, as we alluded to consider when selecting which sessions, workshops, or even booths to visit? How does that begin? How does that begin to take shape in that mindset?
We It's a really good question. And I will say one of the things that we really look at are our attendees and really understand. We kind of talked about, are they in-house? Are they building service contractors? Are they facilities people? But there's more to it, right? Like you said, are they first-time attendees? If they are, the best advice we have is use this website and then use our registration tool that lets you select sessions ahead of time and really plan your day so that when you get to the Clean Buildings Conference and you get to that reg counter and you've made all those selections in the reg form on the front end, all that content and all your choices are going to be handed to you with your badge, and you are going to have your agenda. And it's very, very easy to follow and navigate. Some people do like to shoot from the hip, and I am one of them. So please know that that is always a possibility
Yes.
too. If you change your mind along the way, I thought I wanted to get into this staffing, but boy, I have some other questions about green cleaning. I'm going to scoot
Mhm.
over here. We're not going to hold you to that original plan, but we really do encourage you to make most of that. And the same thing with the expo hall. We have all of our exhibitors and suppliers listed ahead of time. In addition to those booths, there are also a series of what we call learning labs, and those are things you can also register for through your registration process. And those are down in the expo hall as well. And those are supplier provided presentations to really give you almost a demo of a technology, of a solution, or a new tool that might be something you'd want to consider bringing into your own organization. So it really is just spending a little bit of time on the websites and then digging in a little bit more into your registration so that you are clearly delineating what makes sense to you. That's the how. For the first time attendee, I really do recommend bringing a buddy, finding a
Yes.
coworker, a colleague, because you might not need to be joined at the hip the whole time, but dividing and conquering is fantastic.
100%.
Go into a couple sessions, come back together, grab a cup of coffee, grab a beer at the networking reception at the end of the day, and kind of discover, what the other one experienced. Those observations should also make their way into some sort of formal document at the end. Oh, that sounds so stuffy. But what I mean is it could be a Word document, a
Yeah.
PowerPoint, something. Bring it back to your team, share it. It is so, so helpful. And two sets of eyes and ears is always better than one.
Oh, 100%. Now that as we kind of enter the holiday season, typically a lot of a time where
Yeah.
we like to look back on the prior year, reflect on what we've done as an individual, what we've done as a leader, what are some of the emerging trends in the cleaning industry that were highlighted at this year's shows that you guys were involved in, and how do you think they will impact the industry as we continue to move forward in progress into 2025 and beyond?
That's a wonderful question because it really does make me take a pause and think back. And it leads me to my observation that COVID had another impact on our industries, and that's staffing. That is recruitment, that is staffing, that is retention. Those topics have been very, very top of mind, especially on the cleaning side and to a certain degree on the facilities management side as well. So I am seeing in 2024, and it's going to go into 2025, the need for these CBCs and the in-house cleaning departments and facility departments to really show the value proposition of being a part of this team, of coming in, being trained up, ready to go, and a skilled contributor to your organization. The other thing that has to happen, and I think it is, but the other thing that has to happen is our industries have to acknowledge, support, and celebrate the people who are currently in these ranks. And that's something we really want to do at CBC and NFMT as well. We want to continue to create that community where you're not just learning, you are understanding how pivotal your role is, how essential your role is in maintaining safe, effective, hygienic, clean workplaces for the world. I mean, for us right now, it's mostly US, but it really is true. One of our workshop presenters, Dave Thompson, he will say, one of the first things he'll say to you is, "I'm a janitor and I save lives."
Yes,
And
he does.
he said that before COVID, and he was 300% right.
Yeah,
So
he.
I will say, those are some of the trends there. And then we are, of course, hearing about AI and chat and automation.
Mhm.
I think there's still more questions and answers there. So we're doing more listening to those kind of conversations to see what's happening. But those are the two big pieces I think you're going to be really hearing in conversations throughout the halls in Baltimore this year in 2025.
And I think it's fair too. This is an industry where sometimes it takes longer for change to be implemented. But from conversations on the pieces you just mentioned, AI, it seems there's been a more open mind and a welcoming nature of, okay, this is here. It's being, the evolution is changing day by day. We need to collaborate, get on board to see the positives, as you mentioned, and
Um,
how we can continue to help it grow our operations.
yeah, I agree. It's not necessarily getting ahead of it, but it is getting our arms around it.
Yeah,
So we really do understand. Um, I think when you really take an industry view of it, get away from social media view or maybe a more
yeah.
broader view of it, you start to see where there are some gains that are very, very exciting, tantalizing to dig into a bit.
One of the things too, you guys do a great job, and I look at these resources that are available every day, your online publications and the different magazines that are out there to help owners, to help leaders, to help managers. There's tons of great info in the research too. You guys take time to work with different groups. I know in-house and sometimes outside, but the industry knowledge that's put there for people to use and see is unparalleled.
I really feel like we should pull Corinne Zudoni in to hear this and some of our editors as well. And you're right, they work tirelessly, and I mean that tirelessly, to get this information out on a daily basis. Things change quickly, and they recognize that. So they pride themselves on their timeliness and on the very robust content across all our publications. I use the phrase clean link all the time because
Yep.
cleanlink.com is where it's all housed, but obviously we have contracting profits, we have sanitary maintenance, as well as facility cleaning decisions, FCD, as we like to call it here in-house. That's our in-house basically news source. Contracting profits is for the BSC community primarily, and then sanitary maintenance is for that supplier side. There's just such a beautiful overlap from all of them, but at the same time, having these distinct and very specific brands really helps get really, really almost granular in a good way on the content that each of our members of our industry need to, I guess, get their day going, keep things, front of mind as to what their next steps should or could be. And you talked about some research too. That is definitely something we work very hard on a regular basis. I don't know if we're going to have any new research pieces available in March, but stay tuned because we're always trying to determine where are those gaps? What kind of data is our industry looking for and how can we best provide that?
Wendy, I'm excited. March is going to be here before we know it. Thank you for giving our listeners here valuable information on Trade Press Media Group. Where can they go online and follow TPMG and reach out if they have any further questions regarding the upcoming events in 2025?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So a great place to start is what we just talked about, cleanlink, all one word, .com. That's the information portal. That's going to really get you into the day-to-day content that we pride ourselves on. For the conference itself, please go ahead to cleanbuildingsconference.com. You're going to get information there, not just on Clean Buildings Conference, but also learn how, if you register as a pro level, you will also have access to NFMT, National Facilities Management and Technology Conference. So there are some twofer deals out there that, Christmas is coming. I mean, who doesn't like a twofer?
I've already started shopping during Prime Day for sure.
Okay, good. So we've got those two options. And then anything more specific or anything that really didn't get answered there, please, events@tradepress.com. That comes to our team and we will dispatch it out to the person who can get you the answer as soon as possible.
Wendy, we're excited about the opportunities, seeing you guys continuing to grow and expand. Thank you so much for taking time to stop by and chat with everybody here.
My pleasure. And Tim, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Baltimore as well and working together again. So glad you're going to be a part of our event. We're
excited. It will be here before we know it. That will complete this edition of the BOC mini-series. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or wherever you get podcasts from. Also, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and your comments. From everyone at Janitorial Manager, our guest, Wendy Dietzler, I'm Tim Clack saying so long. Until next time.